Howdy there, YouTube. Um, what's my intro? Okay, anyways. Howdy there, YouTube. My name is Moo Tree, and this background noise is really making it hard for me to talk right now. Anyways, that aside, you probably noticed that this isn't Bioshock. It's not. It's the Stanley Parable, and I'm really excited to play this because this game is hilarious. I have played it a bit before when I was trying to record and nothing was working and freak out. But here we go. We're going to go into we're gonna begin a game instead of loading a game. Without further ado, the Stanley Parable.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-ripping, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Am I supposed to not move? No, just kidding. Anyways, so this is a very story-driven game. If you don't know what it is, if you haven't seen it before. But, which you all probably have seen this before. It's a very story-driven game, and you can do what the narration tells you to do, and you can choose not to do what the narration tells you to do. However, for the first episode, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna listen to what the narrator has to say to me. So, I leave. I left my office. Goodbye, 427. I'm off to bigger and better things.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, definitely missed a memo. It's always a memo that I missed. I'm always the last to know. Like, literally always the last to know. Like, when it comes to, like, when it came to marching band, when it came to everything, I was always the last to know. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I want to go in the door on the right. But, okay, let's go on the door on the left. We'll listen to what we're told. Do what you're told. Huh? Meeting room!
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
When I wasn't recording, when I've played this before, it's so worth it to just pause and read this stuff, because some of this stuff is just hilarious. So I'm gonna look at everything, so you guys can have the time to read it. Look at that. That. Everyone is unique. You, most of all. Number of slides on the slide. Slides, charts, charts, and slides. That makes a lot of sense. Look at that. Okay, let's go. There's a broom closet. Might have to go this way again.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs. Let's go upstairs. There's a bathroom. I want to use that bathroom. There's no secretary. Where's the secretary? The sexy secretary. There's always a sexy a sexy sex. A sexy secretary. Blah. Anyways, let's go in.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
There's the cover of, or like the thing, like if you have it on your desktop, that's the little picture right there in the center there. But why is there
Stanley
a point?
just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
Shut up, I'm
Trying
talking.
to input anything on the device was useless,
I'm
since he could never
talking.
possibly know that the combination
Oh, my
was
word.
2845.
Okay. What is the point of having a room this tall anyways? Okay, whatever. So it's
2845.
I got it. It's 2845.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
It's very under budget. I'm joking. I guess we follow the light because there's nothing in the darkness. Yeah, there's nothing in the darkness. We follow the light. Push the red button. Loud noises.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
He was brainwashed, duh. I guess. Why would the light go out? Ugh. They try anything to
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Alright. But there's an escape. But we're following what he says. Okay. We'll go in here. And the Lord said, "Let there be light."
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
That really is a lot of TVs. Imagine having that many monitors in a setup. Sorry. Lights. Cameras.
Now the
Action.
monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. Lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Nothing. And right there's Stanley's room. I noticed, number-wise. See, 427. Sorry, I keep drinking, but talking like dries out my mouth. There's the room we were in. But let's keep on going. And this is the action, I guess.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I think that's the only reason I would be able to deal with that.
No.
Oh.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I'm sorry, I'm
But
being
here was
so
the
weird.
proof.
Oh.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
What I was saying, I'm sorry I'm being so weird when he's talking, is like, I don't want to talk over him, because that's, well, not my job. He's supposed to be talking. And, I wonder if I can open that door. I really, wait. One. Wait. One. Wait, one, two, there's three, there's a 5. Is there 3? Is that 3? 3. Up there's 4. And over there's 5. Let's go press 5. Let's see if this does anything. Nope, it didn't do anything. Oh well. Mind controls idle, awaiting input. There's SOBs controlling my mind.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
I wonder what would happen if I clicked on. But I'm gonna click off. My ears.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
That's a happy ending. Anyways, but I want to know, why were his co-workers all suddenly gone? Why was nobody in the building anymore? Like, those are good questions. And, like, I understand, like, ugh, I don't care anymore. I'm free! But, like, I want to know. These are things I want to know. I need to know. But anyways, let's step through the open door.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Aww. Stanley was happy. Yay! And we're back to our room, because the end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Which you learn from the loading screens. Anyways, that was the first episode of the Stanley Parable. If you liked it, subscribe. If not, welcome back another time. And, well, yeah. Just come back, you know. Bye. What are you still doing here? Bye.